before I start. So just to repeat for the recording, the outcome of today is we're going to get boil ourselves down to 2-3 ideas. We don't need to communicate the idea or the pitch, because really what we need to communicate by 5 p.m. tomorrow is the question that we're going to target. So, but by locking down the ideas, we would have locked down the question. Now, before we go any further, I think the good test of where we sit is when you were sitting down, did we go more around question 2.2 or did we go around question 2.3? Were we focusing more on how many ideas did we come up with for the educational skills, which is question 2.2? Kieran, how many ideas did you come up with? By the way, I love your chair.
I came up with one, but
one idea?
quite elaborate.
Good. We'll elaborate in a second. What about you, James?
I definitely came up with more ideas for 2.2 than 2.3. I thought that was easy to work with.
Okie dokie. And Tafiq, where did you land?
Yeah, sorry to say, but I could work only one ideas because I guess
the number of ideas, that's not a problem. Which question did you focus that idea on?
2.2.
So very quick maths will tell me that question 2.3, whilst we spent a lot of time discussing it yesterday, it does not seem to have sparked anyone's innovative, creative juices, for want of a better term. So I think really by this conversation, do you guys see any value in discussing question 2.3 anymore, or should we just focus on 2.2?
I guess for me it's 2.2.
2.
I'm happy to discuss both.
You want to discuss both? Okay. James?
Yeah, I'm happy to discuss both.
Both. Okay, great. So I'm going to bring up my little Mindomo mind mapping thing, and we can start working through this. Just give me 1 second. I'll just pop it up on here. All right. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is to call out your ideas, and we're just going to workshop them in terms of the judging criteria. Did everyone go and get the judging criteria out of the presentation? Do you have those handy? If not, I can put them up on screen. It's not a problem. Where are we going? Where are we going? Go back. There she is. Great. So if you remember from yesterday, our question is on the screen. Question number 2. I'm just sharing my screen now. Sorry, team. 1 second. Technology is not my friend today for some reason, but there we go. Right. So everyone should see the question, and the question we were focusing on yesterday was play. And we wanted to, I think it's about now. No, it's not too far. It should be back here. There you go. And it's down there. Back one. Right. So question 1, which is being shared on screen. Can everyone see the question on screen? Was how might we train and empower people to feel confident working with machines and computers to develop new digital skills? So without further ado, who would like to pitch me an idea? And remember, when we're talking about pitching ideas, we are talking about, I'm going to just bring it up as a separate image. Where did I have my clip? Sorry guys, 1 second. I'm just trying to set this up so that we can work. For those who don't use it, I really cannot recommend this software enough. I don't know if you've ever done any mind mapping, but this is really, really, no, I'm taking it. Clever. And as I say that, it's not working. So that's really terrible marketing.
What's it called? Mindomo.
Mindomo. Yeah, it's I've used it for years. Well, I've used mind mapping for years, and I really can't stress how helpful it's been for me for the work that I do. But look, you can probably, if I just zoom in here, there we go. We're just gonna work like that. Can you see on screen? Yeah, so we got the 2 questions there. I'm just gonna remove this one for now, and I'm going to remove this one for now. Okay, so those are the 2 questions we're working with, and you can see the judging criteria. Everyone able to see that on screen at the moment?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Perfect, easy. So without further ado, and turning a light on so everyone can see me, who wants to pitch me an idea first?
I have some like smaller ideas. It's not really an overarching idea, but just things that I've thought about.
Go.
So first I looked at
And
that concept.
On 2.2, yeah?
Yeah, 2.2.
Yeah.
First I looked on that concept of timing that you mentioned, which needed
Yeah.
to be the forefront issue. I wanted to get some more information from you on this one as well, because I'm sure you've put a lot of thought into this, but obviously it has to be any kind of training, it has to be accessible at any time.
Yeah.
And I thought, obviously your courses have to be, I think, fully completable on mobile, except for some timed assessments. Now, I thought about timed assessments needing to be completed on a computer for accreditation reasons. I thought timed assessments work well in uni because you've only got a certain amount of time to do the assessment. It increases the difficulty a little bit, and then if you can complete those assessments, it's just something a little bit extra that shows you've gone a little bit further. For accreditation, I thought about some kind of a progress system that was like a percentage system to compare the person's skills to like an average baseline.
Yeah.
It would be hard, I think, to quantify the average skill, and I think it definitely varies on things like age.
Yeah.
So you could either adjust it for age and show the person, oh, you're like 5% above the average, or if you're 70% above the average, you should be looking to have these sorts of skills, or you should be looking to build these sorts of skills. So it's kind of like a progression method. And then I also thought about the concept of audience. So if we want to make people learn these new skills at a late age, and we know that learning becomes more difficult as people get older, the content has to either be simpler for older age groups, or it needs to be easy for all ages to pick up. I don't really know how the accreditation side of things would go if you were to make content easier for older people. I feel like a level playing field would be ideal, and I think maybe the most innovative way, but obviously looking for input from you guys as well.
Okay, so summarizing that, just so that we get the selling points, your pitch is to have a bite-sized approach to Korean, which is what we were discussing yesterday, with a gamification or something, which is what technical term is what you described, which is the when we talk about gamification, for those who don't know what that term means, is about the concept of badges and micro certifications that basically, like when you play a video game, you pass level 1, you pass level 2, you pass level 3, congratulations, here's a badge. It's actually a very powerful mechanism to reward, to create a sense of reward. But obviously, so, and that's, these are all commonly used concepts that are relevant. I think what I would struggle here, or what we need to come up with if we follow this idea through, is the innovative approach and being able to define the uniqueness of the approach. Because obviously, we've got to come up with something that is novel enough that someone will go, no one has ever thought of that. That's a great idea. Let's park yours for a second. Who would like to go next? Document that, James, because that's some really good stuff in here. So make sure that that's documented. Kieran, would you like to go for next?
My idea is a little similar to James. I was thinking to introduce AI to educational system where students, business, and unemployed people are targeted.
Yeah.
where, for example, someone has done their degree for management 5 years ago and the skills not relevant enough. So they can go for a short-term personalized course where they're just targeting for specific skills. And because it's for a short time, then they are also spending less time to complete what they need to complete, and it's cost efficient. And meanwhile, they're interacting without being present in a classroom. It's more of a virtual learning.
Yeah.
And also we can affiliate those courses with universities and institutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Love this. Talk to me about the role that AI in your mind plays here.
Sorry?
Talk to me about the role of AI. So you mentioned about AI, artificial intelligence.
So like so they don't have to be present in a specific classroom or a university. They can just do it from being outside the state or overseas or anywhere.
It's an online, no, that's not a problem at all. I'm curious, you mentioned at the beginning of the sentence, you talk about AI.
Yeah.
Unless I misheard, yeah, so artificial intelligence. What is the role that artificial intelligence plays in this?
I would say that they can also take a skill, while they're doing their course, they can take a skill assessment virtually, where the assessment is done by online system rather than going through a manual system.
Yeah, no problem. But what role does AI, because actually the use of AI is clever, but I'm curious as to how you see artificial intelligence enriching this experience.
Good question.
Tafik, you're a technical person. What do you think?
I think we can use the AI to make the learning system more user-friendly to the user who is using it. As a beginner user, the learning should be easier for him, and as he go to the advanced level, the learning process should be more harder. Then the AI actually decide what the things he's making mistakes, what the things easier for him, and it will use the machine learning mechanism to decide what type of education should be provided to him.
So machine learning, and there's some good stuff in there. So you're saying let's use machine learning to basically modify the level of the course, personalize the level of intensity of the course for the person attending it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. To modify difficulty. Okay. All right. This is good stuff. I had an idea. Am I allowed to pitch you one?
Yes, please.
So I would actually, I think this is really relevant, and it's actually, this ties in very well into what James says, because this is the same conversation. But I actually would look to use artificial intelligence, not just about the difficulty of the unit or course, but actually about the continuous upskilling. So I would actually argue that using machine learning to track trends which are outside the education cycle, such as industry, programming languages, economic thing, to actually produce and personalize the learning path.
Yeah.
So we just, so Tafik made a very good point about the learning experience. So I'm in a course and I'm learning something and it's being adapted based on my experience with the content. And my view is also about the learning path, that when you get into a 4-year degree, when you start the degree year 1 and when you finish it at year 4, particularly if you're doing a subject that is technically diverse and in an industry that is very well used, the reality is that the market that you started in year 1 and the market that you exit at year 4 will be vastly different.
Yes.
So I would actually argue about the pathway as well. So I think artificial intelligence can play an active role in defining the pathway and which course and at what level it could be done. So that would be the one that I would contribute to this discussion, not just in terms of difficulty,
This is where the personalized course comes in, where they can select what they actually want to learn and what kind of skills they want to gain and how long it will take them to complete it.
Yeah, and I think that there is I think it's about, it's intelligent. I would classify it as intelligent learning products.
Yeah.
What I mean by intelligent learning products is, so a degree is a learning product. If you think about it, a degree is a summary of courses, and each course is a summary of outcomes and content and so on and so forth. What we're saying is that, yes, I'm doing a degree in IT or a degree in computing science, but actually the pathway and what I'm going to be doing is entirely dependent on what the mark and the level which I'm doing is completely customized, personalized to my learning style and learning ability and so on. So it's almost a strength-based approach. It starts with you as the center rather than the content.
Yeah.
That's not a terrible idea.
I like that.
That's a personalized educational experience, which is AI driven. You got some good marketing on that. Okay, someone pitched me a different idea. Let's park this because we're gonna get excited and then we're gonna get rabbit eyes. I don't know if you know the expression rabbit eyes. You know, when the rabbit sees something, it shoots and forgets to look around. So pitch me a completely different idea. Who's got something else that isn't this?
Yeah, actually, I like, if you permit, I like to present elevator pitch that I've created.
Sure.
And I have created a mind map as well that
Sure.
because I think, sorry to say, but it might take a little bit of time because maybe 5 or 10 minutes, if that's okay.
That's absolutely fine. Just let me give you this. Oops. There you go. So you can now share your screen, mate.
So first I'm going to do the elevator pitch, then I'm going to share my screen and the mind mapping link so everyone can view that.
Go for it.
So this company I'm using, this fictional company named Thanatos. So I'm just for the experiment purpose that maybe change later in any way. So let's start it. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Taufik and I'm the CEO of the company Thanatos, and we believe we have the most effective form of learning and work platform that ever created until today. Our company is helping about over 50,000 students and 1 million residents in Western Australia. And now what kind of service we're providing to the community, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, we have created the most effective learning and workplace platform that helps solve problems both for the companies and they solve the employment problem for the general public in Western Australia during this COVID situation. So how this process really works? Well, we use the latest and greatest technologies such as AR, VR, web, mobile, AI, machine learning, and blockchain to provide easy, affordable, and consumable education to the end user. And we're the only one in Australia right now who are researching on the brain-computer interface to provide better education. And using that technology, we can basically teach thousands of people in a matter of seconds. Now, I want to come to the next point. With the collaboration of university, the employer will be posting their jobs and tasks using our platform, and the student and the regular user will be solving the problem. And by doing that, they'll get the points and reward system, and will be able to get cashback and discounts. And as the process, whoever gets the highest point will get a guaranteed job from the employer. So the good things is here, the company get the job done, the student earn extra cash, student get a job in the company after graduation, the students are happy, employer are happy, that makes everyone happy. And we also have a special program for the veteran, unemployed, disabled, and the older generation. So that help contribute to the Western Australia economy. So how do we make money, if you ask the question? Basically, we get commission from the employer while using the user, they get the reward point. The employer sell more product due to discount and cashback. And that basically generate the revenue for the employer, and as a commission, we also get the revenue. So for now, we are charging a very affordable subscription fee, even who can afford this. But due to our large user base and as we are using the blockchain technology, that's basically we are not using any local servers. We can cut the cost to the lowest. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah.
Okay, show me the presentation. Oh, show me the mind map.
Sorry, like I was being a little bit unprepared. I created this within 5 minutes. So
Okay, it's okay. Nothing, as I said, no idea. There's some good stuff in there. So I think there's a few bits that we should definitely explore further. Are you just going to pop it on screen?
yeah, I'm going to pop it up my screen just a moment. So can everyone see the mind map?
Cool. I feel like we've all kind of landed on the same idea. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so there's I think my touch screen is not working, but
That's okay. We can see you're
okay.
moving around. We can see what you're doing.
Yeah, so I have selected the theme 2, shaping the future, and 2.2, how might we train and empower the people to feel confident working with machines and computers and develop new digital skills. So for that, I have come to 2 solutions that has like we can minimize the gap between machines and humans. And there's another solution is creating a learning platform and create a workplace or freelance platform. They'll be both used together, but I'm going to come first to the minimize the gap between machines and humans. For this, we have 2 pathways, like utilizing the current technology and inventing and researching about the new technology, which we doesn't have right now. So it's not tested yet. So the first thing I'm going to discuss the brain-computer interface. So though it is like an experimental stage, but still we can take it as like option. So I'd like to present to you and like to know all of your opinion. So the basically things will happen like we'll be able to connect the human brain to the computer, like some BCI interface, like we can use the Neuralink that being experimented right now by the company of Elon Musk. And the process, we can upload the data in the brain in a digital process. So there's 2 benefits for that. Like we can easily input the information. The older generation who doesn't understand the technology properly, they can like consume the content like basically in no matter of seconds. Like we're going to put the information in their brain basically. So there's a less time consumed because like we can give the training to 100 or 1,000 of people in the same time, and that basically contributes to the innovation of newer technology and improves the humankind. But there's some problem here, like the technology we have like not be suitable for right now, and it might not be tested, and there could be some complication like and some legal issues we might face. And the other problem is that it might be expensive, and we might face some government approval and legislation. So, but for the problem, we have some sister organization that might help us invent and research the new technologies that I will come later. But now let's talk about the other technologies we're going to use, the ER augmented.
The only comment I wanted, sorry to interrupt, the only comment I wanted to make, which I think it's a big point to make here, is purely around bioethics. So when you're talking about BCIs and brain computer bioethics, I don't know if you're familiar with the language, but bioethics talk about not just about government and legislative, but whether it is ethical to, whether it's ethical. Same conversation. It's a similar conversation to what we're having right now as a society about the vaccine. Whether we can, as a society, mandate the usage of a vaccine to everyone, because it's something that we all need to do. In the same way that if you plug, can we mandate that we can plug someone from a machine and alter their pattern brainwaves, or potentially could cause more harm than good. And look, old science causes more harm than good until it's sterilized, but just something you might want to put in the mix there in the concept around bioethics, because I think that that's something that you're going to come up with against time and time again. A very good friend of mine is doing a master's in it at the moment, and if she were here, she would probably give you an hour's lecture in a very good way about the pros and the cons of BCI and the difficulties that you will face for implementation of anything that translates the physical to the digital. Because there are definitely some sincere challenges. And actually governative ones would probably be the least. It's more of it's actually the same conversation we have about stem cells, I think, in my opinion. You know, should we be altering something, or should we be doing something that is so dramatically impacts or can have an impact to our lives? But please continue with the rest. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, just like basically in the alpha stage, so I'm still improving.
No. And Tariq, Tariq, the conversation is really around. I think that thinking outside the box is how we innovate. So there is no apologies in that. This is great. It's just an argument of, when you pitch this, if you wanted to take this forward and pitch it, bioethics would be the first. If you went to a proper panel, that will absolutely guarantee you it will be out of someone's mouth within 5 minutes of you presenting. And you'll need to be able to articulate why it's bioethical.
So the other technologies we are using, like augmented reality and virtual reality, that's the one kind of like platform we're using to teach the courses to the user. Another type is mobile application. So both of our platforms should be mobile and web friendly. So we have like all available means, so the user can access from it anywhere. And as I said, like we're also using AI and machine learning. So like it basically like shaping the like learning system based on the user's experience and level. So the like more experienced user will having the more difficult approach, and the beginners will have like more like easy approach, something like that. And the another thing is like we also like using blockchain, because we already know like blockchain is the future, like because it's still in the starting phase. So like that the details I'll come later in the features about it. So the main features of our learning process should be, we are using like small bite-sized learning method. So it should be like broken down into smaller chunks, so the person can easily understand the contents.
What do you think a chunk? What do you think a chunk in time looks like for you?
Probably 10 minutes.
10 minutes
maximum.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's good. How does everyone else feel about that unit of time?
I think it depends on the topic.
Okay.
I think it could vary. Maybe you could have like multiple different size chunks depending on how complex a topic is. But I mean,
I
10
think-
minutes is 10 minutes you could fit on like a bus journey or something like that.
Yeah.
So it would make it really accessible.
Well, I think one interesting metric to capture would be is what is the average length of a YouTube video that people watch?
Mm.
The reason why I say that is because there is your data in a nutshell in the concept of attention span. Quibi, anyone familiar? You ever heard that term? Quibi? Quibi was the next pretender, the latest pretender until Paramount Plus came out for TV, for the Netflix world, the streaming world. And Quibi had a really interesting approach. Quibi only put out 10-minute videos and a TV series, but split into 10 minutes. Their entire ethos was, we know that people will only watch for 10 minutes and then do something else. So 10 minutes is actually not a bad swing, Tafik. But I'd probably say that 10 minutes would be the absolute maximum size of
Okay,
flight.
I'll note that.
Just an advice. Yep.
Okay.
And look at the Quibi. I think it's spelled Q-U-I-B-I or Q-I-B-I. It's gone bust. They ran out of money, but because of COVID. But Quibi was an interesting approach. I know that because they made a TV series of one of my favorite movies, which was the one with Harrison Ford. The brain is gone now. You see, I said my favorite movie, my brain is gone. The Harrison Ford is The Fugitive. They made a TV series of The Fugitive, and with the guy that did Narcos. But it's an interesting concept. You should look it up. Anyway, please continue.
So the next feature should be VR and AR learning. So the user can have a, like, we all know, like visual memory, like last longer, like we like, and rather than like, if we can experience anything that should be like gets into the person, they can easily understand these things. So we had this option. So the other option should be mobile and web application. So if any person doesn't have access to the website, so he can also learn through their mobile. And if the person, sometimes they prefer, like, I want to have a rich experience through the website, so they still can have it.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I'm going to pause you there. Sorry, Tafik, purely because we're going to start running out of time otherwise. Can we just jump to the features for 5 minutes? Or you said, you wanted to talk about, I was interested to understand how you saw blockchain being implemented for this program. How do you see blockchain being used?
yeah, basically the blockchain we are using, like identification and using ledger and voting and maybe the certification, because like as you already know, the blockchain can be very secure database than the like traditional database. Like
everyone, sorry to interrupt. Everyone familiar with what blockchain is? And please say if you're not, I'll explain it in very simple terms. Kieran, you comfortable? You know what blockchain means?
Kind of.
Enough? Okay. Well, very simply, in a very, very simple way of explaining it, where before we had a tendency of storing data in one singular structure, right? So it'll be a database will be one database with lots of tables in it. But blockchain, through a level of security, basically decentralizes that process. So that information is broken up into secure multiple bytes. And I explained it really high level. It's actually a lot more complex than that, but in essence, that's what you need to think about. So because we can decentralize the process, we no longer have one physical location or a cluster of locations. We can have an entire network of items that do the similar job and can offer the same service. Again, I'm sure if Dylan watches this recording, he'll go, that's a very butchered way of explaining it, but it's trying to explain it simply because it's quite a difficult little concept to get head around for myself. And I come from database development because that used to be one of my main skill sets. So sorry, Tafik, go ahead.
Yeah, so as I think I already talked about the AI and machine learning. So it basically will be using for the automation and like analyzing the data and like providing the service based on the user experience and difficulties. And the next two part is regarding the BCI. So it's still on the experimental stage. So there's not so much to talk about, but we could implement something like in the virtual scene or similar to the matrix. I know, like maybe I sound something like a crazy person, but
No, Tafiq, can I just say, I wouldn't feel like it. Listen, if someone had pitched me blockchain 10 years ago, I would have left them out of the room. How's that sound? So being creative doesn't mean that, you're thinking outside the box. That's the whole point of what we're doing here, And to be fair, it's actually been experimented commercially before. I'm not sure about the upload side of things, and this is where the bioethics comes in. But because messing with brainwave patterns and injection of knowledge can be quite a scary aspect. So from my perspective, I think that you're right on the money. But okay, let's bring this. So I think we are kind of, can you please stop sharing your screen and we'll cover the rest later. That's really thorough and well done, Tafiq. That's really a lot of good work in there, mate. But really what I'm sensing from everyone's ideas thus far is that we do like the idea of the bite-sized personal. I've been writing down notes as we were going. So what I've captured here is, a personalized learning experience that is delivered in short bursts, in a compressed time frame, that is interactive, that is engaging, that is visual. I think one of the fixed points there is very valid, that we retain better when we read, when we visualize, when we engage. That is accessible and certifiable, that has an element of skill assessment, that is a customized learning experience for the user. I think that is artificial intelligence driven, and it delivers secure assessment through and voting and all of the aspects that you picked out there from using blockchain technology. This is all good stuff. This is cream off the top. Now, I think the other element that we want to testing this idea, the next stage that we need to test, coming back to our friends at the JIC, is, and I'm just going to share my screen again, are the 5 principles or the 5 elements of the business model canvas. Now, do you guys have your business model canvas handy as part of your introduction? Right. So do you want to, because I couldn't find them in my documentation, but that could be me. If I give you permission, would you mind sharing them with us so that we can test it? And while you do that, I'll just quickly. Any luck?
No.
It's in the JIC handbook. Yeah, the student handbook.
I will have a look on the student handbook. That's a good point. I couldn't see it. But if it is, then I apologize. Here we go. Student handbook coming out.
A1 business model canvas, page 18. Let's see.
Page 18? Sorry. The other 4 themes.
Yeah, there we go. 18 and 19 of the student handbook.
So here we go.
Rotate this.
All right, so because we're starting to form an idea, the next logical approach here is to test it. Okay. Now, the reason I say that is because on the 5th, which is, to remind ourselves, Monday, correct?
Mhm.
Monday, close of business Monday, we have, on Monday, we have to do our video of our pitch. So,
Is it Monday or 8 July? I think.
was it 8th? I thought it was the 5th. Is it the 8th of July?
I think it's 8th of July, as per the website,
No,
JIC.
No, pretty sure.
I got it. Yeah, I think even in the email it says it's 5th.
I thought it was the 5th. I'm pretty sure it was the 5th. I'd love to
About
be
the
wrong. I'd love to be
submission of the video pitch, I think 8 July.
Oh, no, actually, no, I apologize. That is true. It says here, session 3, the 6th of July, which is when you guys are attending. It says here, learn how to create a video pitch, 1 p.m. That is true. So session of, and so on the 8th of July is when we have to be back up. Well, no, we're going to be meeting regularly, but I'm saying on the 8th of July is when we have to submit. Groovy. Okay, fantastic. Let's, okay, so what I suggest we do now then, which I think would be a good idea, is if we split up the idea, the judging criteria, basically we need to test our judging criteria and our business model canvas. To do that, the business model canvas, which I have here, now, where's it on page 18, you said, yeah? James, was it page 18?
Yeah, page 18 and 19. So there's 18 there, it's got the summary, and then I think the actual canvas is the next page.
So we need to, you need to go through and test this idea. So to test it, I need someone to write the idea down. Who would like that goal? Or shall I step out of this call for 5-10 minutes and you guys can come together? You need to come together on one hybrid statement of what that idea that we want to test is. What would you like to do? We can either do it independently, or I can step out of this call for a minute and leave you guys to workshop it for 10 minutes.
Should we workshop it together, guys? What do you reckon?
Yeah, we workshop together.
Workshop together? Okay, Tafi? All right, right.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, because it's not, and I just want to be clear, nothing would make me happier than workshop this with you. But I am under strict instructions. And as someone who loves developing things, I assure you, I am quietly kicking myself here because I would love to give you lots of ideas because my brain right now is quietly going into overdrive. But I also have to be disciplined. I know I'm a grown-up, it's a horrible thing.
Actually, I have done something about the revenue streams, distribution channel, and value proposition in the mind map. If you want me to show, I can show.
No, that's fine. Actually, what I want you to do, because as the mentor, I can't be part of this conversation. I need to give you the opportunity for you guys to do it. Before you go to the business model canvas, I would suggest we spend the next 10-15 minutes to document, and even longer if you needed to document the idea. Take the hybrids of what we've done, and if someone, and I'm happy to send you my terrible scribbling of what I've captured, but you should have captured it yourselves. But let's tell you what, it's now 4:50. I'm gonna give you until, shall we say 5:20? Give you plenty to give you half an hour, and then you got plenty of time if you want to have a break as well. So why don't we all jump back on? I'm going to disconnect, or I'm going to mute and kill my camera, and I'm going to leave you guys to do it. In fact, I think what I can even do, if I can master the technology, is to put you into your own breakout room. Can I still do that? Just give me a second. Yes, I can. There you go. I'm going to create a breakout room, and I am putting you room 1, the 3 of you. Open rooms. Great. You guys can jump in the breakout room. welcome back, team. How do we?
All right.
How did it go?
It was great.
Yeah, I think we've done pretty well.
Yeah.
Doing pretty well. Great. Have we got the one pager? Or has anyone written it down?
We've got our ideas written down.
Yeah.
So should we start with the questions? So we've got, I'll do the first one of customer segments and who we help.
Before we go there, because we got Dylan, we have Dylan and Chua in this conversation who are not here. So I think the best thing at this point would be if you're happy that you've documented your ideas, I think that best procedure here would be to post them on Slack.
Yeah.
And then have us, because we need to familiarize it with Dylan and Chua to be able to take their input, to be able to see where they want to go.
Yeah.
And then take it from there. But what I would say is the homework is to do the business model canvas and to do judging criteria against your ideas so that we can actually test them. That make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. How's everyone set up for excuse me, before I ask that question? Yes, I can do it. Are you available same time tomorrow?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes. Tafiq?
Yeah, I am.
Great, fabulous. So I'll just copy and paste this again. I'll put the homework on the chat. Really proud of you guys. I think we're doing some excellent work. Stay positive, keep it going, and see you tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Sounds good. Thank you, Adrian.
Awesome. Have a lovely evening. Thank you, guys.
Take care, everyone.